Hey guys, hope everybody had a good trading day today. I'm going to be taking a look at some of my favorite setups going into tomorrow, which will be Thursday, June 17th. So right off the bat, we have this nice setup on Zoom. And if you guys follow me on Twitter, I was actually looking to take a short position, a swing trade on Zoom, because they were coming up on this linear regression. But they're actually building really strong off of their demand and setting up for a nice breakout spot here. If we can confirm 370, we actually have room up to 388. So this looks like it has really nice scalp potential. Again, that volume that on last Friday really pushed this thing. And then this week we've just been building under this and testing 370. So if we confirm that 370, I'm definitely ready to go ahead and try to hit this thing for a day trade. Next up, I got Microsoft. Keep an eye on this setup over 260.6, which I may adjust that number, so keep an eye on the Twitter. When I put out pre-market watch list, I'll update the precise entry. They definitely 260.6 is the spot that's been getting rejected. I may update it to like 260.7 just to play it a little cautious and make sure it confirms. But regardless, we've been, even with the flash sell-off today in tech, did a good job holding on to demand here. Actually closed a little bit below the 5-day moving average, but overall building really strong under that number there. So if we confirm, again, really nice potential. And this actually, you could probably categorize this under a swing setup just because we have so much room to the upside here if we confirm this level here. So I may look to go a month out on these contracts. I may scalp some weeklies and then at the exact same time enter some maybe July contracts, and then just go ahead and day trade the weeklies and go ahead and maybe I'll trim some of, depending on the move we get. If we get a nice move, I could trim the swing position and basically just turn it into a free play if we get a nice $2-3 move. Another name, and a theme in my watch list today is these names that we don't typically day trade, like Microsoft, PayPal, Zoom, but we'll get later into the Nvidias and Amazons and Apples, the names we typically trade. The problem is a lot of those names have been on such a strong run lately that I want to make sure they confirm, because I'm not just buying highs to buy highs. I'm looking for builds so that I know the breakout has some strength behind it. But looking at PayPal here, we have 275.27. I'm probably going to wait for 275.5 to confirm. Maybe even 276 if this thing has some push behind it. Although I think 275.5 would definitely be valid entry. And yeah, I mean, this is just a textbook daily macro base build. I mean, it doesn't get much cleaner than that. We rejected it basically 3 times. Each of the past 3 days we've rejected 275.27. If you go to the hourly, if we confirm that spot, we have a $5 move in there potentially. I'm not looking to take a swing position on this just because this is definitely a spot where we could reject and retrace to the downside. But even though I believe it's going to go ahead and try to make a push to this 290 spot, I'm just going to strictly focus on day trading this name tomorrow. Last breakout setup that I have for tomorrow is going to be Apple. We have this 131 spot here, and pretty similar setup to Microsoft really, where it's been building under that 131 spot right here after that really strong day on Monday. And I mean, if we confirm that, definitely some nice upside. I'm not expecting a crazy move in Apple ever since they split. By the way, that was a beautiful bounce today. I mean, bounced right on the nose. That would have been a really nice spot to get in there at 128.5. I was actually watching that bounce, was it yesterday? I think yesterday we were watching that bounce spot, but I didn't expect them to pull back like that during the meeting. They caught me off guard. I would have loved to have kind of cheated that entry right there, and we would have already been up $1.50 on the trade before even taking entry, but whatever, Yeah, like I was saying, ever since Apple split, I'm not expecting a crazy move. I think if we caught a 50-cent move off this breakout, I would be fairly happy with that. I think a dollar move, a move to 132, isn't unrealistic from a day trading standpoint. From a macro structure standpoint, within the next week or two, we definitely have room up to 136.5. But overall, we're trending down on Apple on the macro view. So I'm only keeping an eye on this thing for cash flow scalps. And then just to round out the day trade watch list, I'm keeping a close eye on Nvidia and Amazon. Now, both of these names have been on crazy runs lately. I mean, just absolutely insane bullish runs. And even Nvidia, with the volume pulling back lately, still doing a great job of holding on to that macro demand. It just hasn't cracked it ever since the stock split news came out. So I don't know that I don't think I want to take a breakout at 722, which is where you would probably take a breakout entry, just because I don't think there's enough volume behind it. I think it needs to rest a little. You know, we talk a lot about how names that go on runs like this, they need to rest and consolidate, which they are. But that being said, I would like to see them put in one huge green candle before kind of saying, okay, this thing has a lot more room to run. You know, a lot of times when you see this consolidation up at the top of the macro structure, you get a false breakout where you just get a $1 or $2 move. Like if we took that entry at 717, we would have only caught a move up to 721 or whatever, which $4 move on Nvidia isn't really too much. I think you might profit like 10% on a move like that. But definitely, with that being said, if we go to the hourly, if we go to the micro view, I see they're building under this supply. But that being said, I think if we do get an aggressive pullback, so this isn't a setup that I anticipate we're going to be able to trade tomorrow. This is more like a just in case. So I'm just letting you guys know, if the Qs manage to slip tomorrow and we keep falling to the downside, if there's a flash sell-off and Nvidia pulls back to 690, which I don't anticipate they do, but just in case they do, this is the setup I'm watching if we have a huge pullback, because there's some relative strength in this name. Again, that setup is almost like a put it in your back pocket just in case everything pulls back. And these four setups right here don't confirm because everything pulls back. Then keep an eye on that Nvidia bounce if that's the case. And then Amazon, I think we hit them every day last week between Wednesday and Friday. I mean, they were just setting up beautifully. And if you go to the micro view here, I mean, it's just textbook pullback, pop, pullback, pop, pullback, pop, higher highs every single day. It's beautiful. Now, the question here is, what do we do when it's running up like this? Because just like we talked about with Nvidia, you know, we could start consolidating here. You can't just buy the highs and ride a breakout, right? That it doesn't work like that. Sometimes that works, but that's more of a correlation, not causation trading strategy. With that being said, if we do pull back, I think this 20-day moving average is really strong demand. So if we pull back to 33.88, I definitely want to take a shot at this name, just because right now it looks like it might be the strongest name in tech right now, maybe outside of Nvidia. So again, when we pull back, I want to target those names with relative strength, because if they're pulling back and they're bullish, then they're only pulling back because of panic selling, which 9 times out of 10, when we panic sell off in the first half hour on a bullish name, that's going to get corrected real quick, right? The smart technical buyers are going to step in and prop that thing back up. So those are the names we want to target on a pullback. Now, there's two names that I'm keeping an eye on for potential swing trade entries tomorrow. It's going to be Snap and Moderna. And the reason that I'm targeting both of these, if we go back to the watch list here, they have a macro pullback, and it looks like they're setting up for a bounce. So guys, basically my main strategy when I'm looking to take a swing trade is I'm looking at the linear regression and I'm trying to find a trend, right? And what I'm seeing in Snap is it puts in these highs and then it retraces and holds on to its demand really well before popping back. So I'm just putting this out there that it's on my radar. I do not anticipate that I'm going to enter this trade tomorrow. However, I would love to see them pull back under this 100-day right here, which is at 56.5. If they can pull back below that 100-day and then reclaim it, I think we may have a really nice potential move here. You know, from 56.5, we could definitely ride this thing up to maybe 63, 64, 65. So I would probably go a month or two out on those contracts, probably go $5 out of the money, but definitely keeping a close eye on that. If we put in, ideally, I'd like to see us sell off today and tomorrow, and then on Monday reclaim it, and then enter on Monday. But again, you can't predict what's going to happen every single day. So we'll just keep an eye on this setup, and as soon as this thing reclaims, Again, I want to see it fall through. I want to see it close under it, maybe even come down to this linear regression, but then I want to see it reclaim, and then that reclaim is going to be my entry. All right, and then the second one, Moderna, as we just discussed, just got done going on an absolutely insane run from the lows a month ago. I mean, literally 4 trading weeks ago, we were at 146, and then last week they put in highs at 228. Just an insane run. And now that we're pulling back into demand, I'm kind of intrigued by this 20-day spot right here. I don't want to try to catch the falling knife. I'm not going to try to predict where it's going to bounce, but I would like to see them fall through this 20-day and then reclaim it. And then on that reclaim, I'd like to take a swing entry. Now, the premiums are a little more pricey on Moderna, so I think maybe a debit spread might be the way to go on this name. But again, I'll update you guys on Twitter if I do take a position there. And that's going to do it for the watch list, guys. So as I said, keep an eye on Twitter. Sometime tomorrow between 8:30 and 9 a.m., I'm going to put out an official watch list for everything that I'm keeping an eye on. So be sure to go check that out. I'll put a link in the description of this video. All right, take care, everybody.